Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, along with the altcoin market, probably XRP. Take a look over there at the United States stock market, which is opening up right now. And I'll look over there at precious metals like gold and the dollar, the US dollar currency index, or the DXY. We'll wrap it up by taking a look over there at any type of financial news and crypto news as we get ready to kick off our day. And then, of course, we'll hang out here in the chat for the remainder of the time once we kind of go through what's going on out there in markets, which isn't a whole lot different than the things that we've covered there in the videos over the last couple of days. I'm going to try to keep Markets in the Morning to about an hour today. I'm very grateful for all the people tuning in. I'm very grateful for the super chats, of course, but I'm going to kind of lay this out here really quick, just real fast. Again, super grateful for the super chats, but we got a lot of people who are tuning in right now, and a lot of times I get a lot of super chats for altcoin requests. So I do ask that please refrain from altcoin requests during this thing, just to keep the flow of the show going. I'm trying to kind of provide a show for everybody, and while I appreciate super chats, I don't want to seem ungrateful if I can't cover what you super chatted, but just kind of letting you know I'm not going to be covering altcoin requests today, so please don't do it. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on into what's going on here in the markets today. Obviously, we had the big liquidation event that took place there on Monday. Is that Monday what happened? I think it was Monday. Like $1.7 billion. Again, yesterday we ended up having another 500 million happened yesterday. So just kind of washing out all of the leverage that's been here in the market. Market's just kind of been settling down here for the last 24 hours. We've got a little bit of green, but you can tell there's still really no trending that's happening in here just yet. The market's just kind of digesting everything that happened there on Monday. Bitcoin, you know, I kind of presented my ideas. I thought we would come down here. I thought we'd have a liquidation. And then really, like I talked about, that we would just kind of continue this sideways stuff. I think we'll probably continue that sideways stuff for a few more days at least. Looking over here at XRP, of course, it hit back to that 2021 high on the actual price chart. Of course, I have mixed feelings about that, whether or not it's going to end up being the market cap that ends up being the thing in there. I think we're just going to have to let it digest for a little while and start presenting a better structure in there. But still, you know, this is the thing. My biggest bag is what we cover. I've covered it the longest because it's always been my biggest bag. But, you know, of course, we're finally reaping some rewards from it here. As for Total 3, which is the altcoin market excluding Ethereum, of course, you know, we got back to the all-time high. We're seeing a lot of volatility coming off of there. You can see kind of what it looked like back in 2021 as we got there. These were big moves that happened in here before it was able to actually get itself out into the all-time high. That didn't work. There we go. You can see that whole volatility range was over 35%. You know, we showed yesterday that one's 19% in there. So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to go down 35%. It's just not unusual to see that. And we talked about that leading up to this. You know, we could see a lot of volatility happening in there. This is another kind of way to look at it. So when we look at it over here on CoinTrader Pro, this is actually pulling the data from CoinMarketCap, whereas TradingView is doing its own calculation in here. CoinTrader Pro is doing what CoinMarketCap.com is reporting. And so we can go back and look right there. Geez, this is just not behaving. Okay, there we go. We can look back in here. That's 2021 as well. You can see, right, what does it do? It builds on top of the preliminary support, and it shoots all the way back up to the high. It just barely pokes above the high, and there's a lot of fighting that happens in there before it actually puts itself into a three-wave expansion, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that wraps up the whole thing, right? But there was a lot of volatility that took place back at that moment. My thoughts are that's just what we're dealing with here right now. We're dealing with a lot of volatility as it's gotten back to these highs and just kind of waiting for things to settle down and then for the next legs up. And we're just going to play the patience game as we're in there right now. Others, kind of the same story in here. It did the same thing back in 2021. There you go. There's your all-time high. There's all your volatility that took place in there. Just to kind of give you an example, we talked about this leading up to it. Like, there just hadn't been any corrections happening in here, and they're just normal to happen in here. And to look at, like, I think we've been spoiled the last few weeks with how green it's been without any corrections. But even in these right in here, right, that one's 32% that happens in there. Then it tries to poke through again, and then it does another 25%. Then it tries to poke through again, and then it does another 20% in here. These are big moves, right? 32, 25, 19 before it's able to actually work its way out of there. And you'll look at the size of the one that we've had right here. 25, right? Right in line with what they typically are, right? 32, 25, 19. That's just part of the volatility of trying to get an actual escape to happen in here. And it's all kind of just part of the game. Looking over at total still in the all-time high. Question is, will it backtest the previous all-time high? Like, is this going to end up being that? Like, that was like your A leg, B leg, C leg to end up getting there. We'll wait for things to develop a little bit more to start seeing that. Ethereum over here got, of course, back to the high in here, pulls back to the 702, and give an idea of like just kind of seeing what things were like when we started moving our way up back there in October of last year. Kind of give you an example of this, and I'm not saying this is it, but just like for expectation's sake, right? And I'll explain why I say expectation's sake. That, this is kind of the thing we were talking about on XRP too. Like, we're talking about how like it could shoot out, it says it's high, then it pulls all the way back down too, right? Like, this is the same thing happening in there. If you caught the videos where I was talking about XRP, that, this, and then it pulls back down there and scares everybody, right? This is that same style of behavior that happens in here. I've seen, I can pull that up on half a dozen charts quickly to show something like that ending up happening. But just to give you kind of an example, and then eventually it goes roaring, right? And, the reason why I'm talking about expectations and times and things like that, we're talking about consistently, whether we're looking at the Russell 2000 and we're talking about how long these things last, or I wrote the newsletter, right? Brought up on the channel, right? Typically, you have 120 days or less for these things to end up running. So what we all want is for it to be 5 days. How about we just do it all in the next 5 days? But you have to imagine, what would it really look like if it was about 120 days? How would those things play out? You could pause in here, right, for 30 days before the next run up ends up happening and everything comes to a conclusion in February or March, right? It doesn't go up every single day for 120 days. It pauses around, and then the blow off ending happens at the very end, right? And so things on like XRP, if it has to come back lower, or if it has to waddle around in there for some time, right? You would have to, like, when I think of it, what would it be like in that final run for XRP, right? Just to kind of put it into perspective, if you think the market's going to top in March, what would it look like, right? Would it, like, let's say, the top of the market's March 5th, right? Based on your understanding of XRP, will it look like that? Right? No, highly unlikely, right? Like, highly unlikely. That it would probably be more, right, like that, right? Like, it would just, this is what I always refer to with Bitcoiners of being like, give you a warm glass of milk, get you tucked in at night, and get your back scratched by your mommy, right? And that's just not what you typically get, right? It's typically this, and then it's all at once, right? And like, imagining it, right? If you ran at that same velocity of what we just had, right? We're talking about waves of equal length over there, right? It's like you could be paused out until you get to there, and then it runs it all in 30 days, right? And so that's just where we're at, right? And not to say it will, but it's like, I know how people get. I've been doing this long enough. I know how people's emotions are. I can already see some of the super chats, what would change your mind, this and that. People start self-doubting and everything like that. I don't see any reason to have any self-doubt in here. This is all standard, normal stuff. Thing is, it just tends to happen very quickly when it does start getting to go. So either way, we're waiting on things to settle down. And usually after you have a liquidation event like that, it takes a minute to settle down. As for Ethereum, there you go. That's kind of an example of how that one went. As for the safety trade dominance, of course, that was the throwback that happened there during the liquidation event that just occurred in there. It looks like that has finished itself up on its throwback in there. Same goes for Bitcoin dominance. Looks like it was a throwback, and it's just kind of chilling out in here. Things like Solana as well. You can go through a lot of these charts, and you'll find there was like technical levels where these liquidations took the price back to. You can see this one went back to the retracement level, went back to the high that was set back there back in March and April. You'll see that on things like Tron. They went back to their 702 retracements. And you'll find that really all over the market throughout the place. So otherwise, I think that just bigger perspective thing is we had a major liquidation. It wasn't a surprise that we had a major liquidation. I think we're going to probably have to settle here for a minute. There can be more volatility to try to have to work through these things. We could see that historically. Those things do happen when you get back to these levels. But then it's, the real big show after that. And that's where we start kind of being like, all right, I'm locking in profits. I know that lock in is like a popular thing over there on Twitter right now. I said it first. All right, that's it. All right, so there you go. That's what's going on. We're back at the all-time high, dealt with the liquidation. We're all just waiting for things to kind of settle down and then for the next round to come in here. Otherwise, looking over things at like Fed rate cuts, it looks like the market is pricing in. We are going to get a rate cut next Wednesday. So again, we live stream those things. It's next Wednesday. It's like in the middle of the day. Jerome Powell speaks. We watch a rate cut. Everybody acts like a goofball in the chat. As for gold still waddling around, has not continued a next leg down just yet. As for the Russell 2000, looks like the markets are up slightly today for the United States stock market. Looks like broader participation happening in there. Not necessarily all the big names. You got United Health down here in the red, but you got GameStop, Coinbase, Roblox, Google, Meta, Netflix, Amazon, Tesla. Those are all the Mag 7 are all up in here, but you got other stuff participating in here at the same time. DXY, the one that's very interesting. Here still sitting at 106, and I think this is probably an ominous sign. I saw a super chat come through earlier. Like, do I think that the markets will eventually crash when all this is over? That's typically how it goes, right? You typically have your parabolic ending, and then it all comes crashing down, and that these are kind of the final stages of a parabola before a crash happens, right? And so we always think to ourselves, no, what's going to happen is prices are going to go up forever, and then they're just going to stay there. And that is not what happens. Prices go up, they go up rapidly, and then bubbles pop, right? I think we're kind of in early stages of creating a parabola. And when I say early, I still mean like typically there's less than 120 days, and we're probably a good 30 days plus into it already. But when it all comes to an ending, they typically end in big fat crashes at the very end. Looking over there at news, we'll make this really quick. CPI comes in, annual inflation rate accelerates to 2.7%. We cover this so much. We knew that this was going to happen. It's going to be very difficult for CPI to be able to come down for the next several months. No craziness. It was 0.3% month over month. Looking over there at crypto news, we are going to go fast through this stuff because it just doesn't matter. Roger Ver claims U.S. targets in for Bitcoin advocacy, not taxes. Bitcoin hits level. Bulls must control for a new 100K Bitcoin price push. How to pick a crypto gaming token winner this bull run. MicroStrategy will eventually unravel. Bitcoin bulls should look elsewhere. I do believe that will eventually be the story. I do believe eventually MicroStrategy is levered to the gills. And that will eventually be the big story of it all falling apart. Bitwise predicts 2025 as year for crypto IPO. Is Bitcoin price going to crash again? Look at that. The most views right there. So this kind of gives you an idea of sentiment, right? Why is Bitcoin price down today? Why is XRP price up today? This kind of gives you a good idea of, are you feeling a particular way? Well, look at that. The news is tailored to give you that type of content. Right. And you will notice more YouTube videos about that. You'll notice more content creators talking about that because it's probably going to pull in more viewership to talk about those types of things. Bitcoin, gold, and silver are in a strong bull market. Veteran trader explains why. I do think when this is all said and done for crypto in the coming months, I think silver is going to be the biggest play, in my opinion. That's how I'm going to place my bets. Cash and silver. Ripple CEO criticizes 60 Minutes for not including info on XRP ruling. I see so many people talking, like, upset about it. Like, here's how you have to view it, right? 60 Minutes is notorious for that. You walked into the lion's den. If you're up, Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple walked into the lion's den of that, knowing that they do that. If anything, look, I'll be straight. It's their fault. They shouldn't have walked into that lion's den. It's very, they're so notorious for doing that. Like, that's where you went. That's what you had to expect would end up happening. Personally, I thought it went much better than it could have based on the things that 60 Minutes has done in the past. I think my bar of expectations was set so low for them walking into that lion's den that I thought they came out pretty good. I thought they came out pretty good with how rough they can actually end up being. As for CoinDesk, man, they really revamped this website. Like, first of all, CoinDesk was already worse than Cointelegraph's website, but they made it even worse with whatever they have done here. It's just how is this in any way navigatable? I can't navigate this for anything. It's just terrible flow here. I don't even know where to read because I don't know what's sponsored, right? So the top story, the very first thing I get is a sponsored story on your website. Crypto Daybook: America's inflation may just provide a Santa spark. XRP outperforms Bitcoin. Dogecoin extends slide ahead of US CPI. Yes, for all the years of dealing with people talking trash about XRP, especially Bitcoiners, if you would have invested in XRP instead of Bitcoin at any point in 2023 or 2024, you've outperformed Bitcoin. How about that? Let us all go. So, all right, there you go. You got Bitcoin back above $99,000. My personal thoughts are that we are just dealing with the volatility that comes at all-time highs that we typically tend to see, no matter if we're looking at total 3, total 2, if we're looking at others, we're removing Ethereum, whatever we're doing. This is just stuff we typically tend to end up seeing. We saw a bunch of liquidations. That's good. I put it in the video yesterday. That liquidation event was just like massive compared to what happened back on August 5th, which of course marked that low back in there. A lot of new people are not familiar with crypto that it can do that. You have to understand there's so much greed in crypto that there's the ability in this market to 100x leverage yourself in this market. And people unquestionably do it 10x, 20x, 30x, 100x. They do it because the greed gets so strong, and that eventually that wipes it out. And so, even if they're only doing it on Bitcoin, whatever collateral they have in their account, if things end up going the wrong way, it ends up selling off everything in the account, and it creates a cascading effect. And that's where we see all the margin liquidated. We see all the altcoins get liquidated and sold off to cover all of these things. And so you kind of get an idea too that, when things eventually hit the fan, a lot of the altcoins are very illiquid when it comes to the end. So when these things shoot up 100, 200%, they don't tend to last too long up there due to illiquidity. But all right, there you go. That's what we got going on today. We're back at the all-time high. Things have settled since the liquidation. Look at Bitcoin back up there at 99,300. Everything seems to be holding itself together today. I think we'll probably still end up ranging here for a minute, trying to digest all of this. But so far, so good with the ideas presented on Sunday and Monday for that. And then yesterday, talking about my expectations were sideways. We're doing the things we should be doing. Things should be okay now. But now we just wait for the big event, the actual escape into the all-time high. And no telling how long time will take. If that takes a week, 2 weeks, 3, we'll see. But so far, so bueno. All right. I think that's it. Oh my gosh. 18 minutes in here and I haven't done it. I'm so sorry. Let us go.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday.
All right, there we go. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Halfway through the week. We're through the worst part. We're through the liquidation stuff, right? That's the good stuff. I wonder if the new people bought it. I did get a text message yesterday. I don't think my friend will listen to the channel, but I've told you guys I've got some friends that have been like, I'm going to buy the dip. I'm going to buy the dip. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Legit. This is the text yesterday. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, boo. I missed the dip again today. LOL. I tweeted, I tweeted out, there's a liquidation. You got all these new people waiting to buy the market. Let's see if they do it. Nope. Nope. Scare them. Scare them. All right. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat. I'm going to really try to do a lot better to keep this thing under an hour today, guys. Last week was just so chaotic. All right. Let's start here. Mike, member for over 4 years. BCB, is there anything that could cause you to revise your XRP price targets? If so, what would that be? Well, that's a very broad question. I mean, I'd have to see something happen in the market that would catch me unexpected, or I'd have to notice something, I mean, could a flash crash of $40,000 on Bitcoin, right, change that? Probably. So I don't know. Like a lot of times when people ask these questions, they already have something in their back of their mind. Like, I'm really not thinking about $8, $9, $10, $11. I'm thinking $589. Or you're worried of, or now maybe you saw the liquidation and you're scared that prices are going to go down, and that's triggering that type of question. I don't see anything right now. It would have to be something emerging in the market at the time. Right now, I don't see anything in particular. Aaron Hobson, BCB, if we get to the 4.236 extension on XRP, what do you think the future holds for crypto? Are you still anticipating a Great Depression in markets? Seems likely to me. It seems likely. We're full extension, everything seems over pushed. That's such a hard question to answer. And whether or not you have a much longer bear market, because there's no question about it. Right, we've just beaten this like a stick, and I pretty much lulled you guys to sleep for a year, talking about the Russell 2000, and showing it throughout all of history, and then you all got to witness it firsthand happen right when it did. That it broke out, and off and away went crypto. Right, it just proves it again. It's one big macro trade. Right, risk on. Everybody gets excited, things get going. But what happens when the tide turns for the whole market on a longer time frame, right? And that we don't see these things happening for the stock market for a while, right? What happens to crypto in those events, right? We don't have any evidence of it because it was launched at the bottom of the great financial crisis, and we've seen nothing but up and away for the United States stock market ever since. So if you believe that the United States stock market will never crash, right? We already know that the bubble printed since the great financial crisis is bigger than that of the roaring 20s, right? So the roaring 20s bubble that popped in 1929, our bubble currently right now in the United States stock market is bigger than that. So, what happens in the event that it does pop? Does crypto keep going when it proves this? Maybe it becomes less speculative, right? Like where all boats rise together. Maybe it becomes much more focused, where it's just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or a couple other ones, something like that, rather than it being, so broad-based throughout the whole market. Don't know. But I would suspect if the United States stock market enters into a really bad situation, crypto will be impacted by that. But I don't think we're there yet, but I've spent a lot of time talking about this topic. I've done a lot of write-ups on it. I've done a lot of videos on this topic, and where I think we are right now, I think we're in a rotational top for the Russell 2000. I think it's still going to keep marching its way up in here. But this is not an expansion, right? I think we know that, right? We can go back and just look at the past ones. If this was a true expansion, that should have escaped right there. But instead, it's actually acting like the rotational top in 1999 to 2000. So I would expect crypto to struggle in that. And, the market, either way, the market breathes in and out every time, right? We see altcoins, and not to forget this, understand the game you're playing in, new people. Eventually, the majority of altcoins will crash 95%. Eventually. Right? Bitcoin eventually crashes about 80%. Right? But right now we're getting to enjoy the luxuries of a different time. Right now we're getting to enjoy the luxuries of getting ready to break out of the all-time high and have some fun. But it's just remembering what comes after those things. And that's why when we get into these things and there's those questions like, what would change your thoughts? What would maybe think maybe we go higher? Maybe we do this. Maybe we do go higher. We'll see it at the time. But it won't change anything for me in regards to pulling money out of the market. I've, been in this market a long time. I've got a laundry list of things I want to buy, and it's going to be time to do it. Jonas Fugalis, super chat. Hey, do you think TIA is doing a retrace or high? I've gone through TIA. I think it's marching up, but again, no individual altcoins today, guys. I appreciate the support though. Andy Philpott with 10 memberships. Brother, thank you very much, Andy. I saw that come in before the stream even started, man. Thank you. Maddie B with member for 23 months. Greeting from England. Coincidence that Brad released the RLUSD news to save us when we hit the tech target? Of course not. He is an XRP army. Knocked in. Yeah. Well, the whole market bounced there too, right? So maybe they timed it. I remember, what did they time in 2017? I think they timed the escrow lock. I think they timed that right. And that's still the one big, that's not that, a different event. There's one other piece of news still there that can create the blow off, right? The one we haven't gotten yet, right? And that's the thing I've talked about a bit on being like, man, that'll be weird if that happens, and how you end up handling that. For people who have been around a very long time, how will you emotionally handle if that happens right there and right there? SEC, no more. Case over. SEC accepts the fine, whatever, it's over. It's all, the whole thing with the SEC, it's just completely over. XRP has now been declared not a security. It's on every exchange, and the fines are done, and it's completely over, and it all happens right here. And you're like, target reached. And you're like, I went through all of that, and then finally it's over, and I'm like, I'm out. And like everybody around you, everybody on Twitter is celebrating. Everybody's singing Kumbaya. See, we told you. Now what? But like, is everybody just going to keep holding, right? Like you get the best prices when you take on the most risk, right? And then the highest prices come in when the risk is reduced. And I just keep thinking, what would it be like that? What are people going to do? And you may say to yourself, I know what I'm going to do. But there's a psychological part of it when you get into it, and you're in that thick of that moment, and how you end up handling that. And a lot of people don't have experience with that. Just remember, selling at the top feels just as bad as buying at the bottom. Completely. At the bottom, you're scared to buy because you're scared prices are going to go down and you're going to lose money. And at the top, you're scared to sell because you think prices are going to go up and you're going to lose money. And it's a psychological game played on you, and having to figure that out ahead of time, how you're going to end up handling that. And typically an all or nothing approach isn't the way. Anybody who's trading their whole bag and selling the 100% of the bag all at once, that's typically how you find yourself doing portfolio erosion. You get out entirely, scare yourself to death, you get back in, then the price falls, and you sell, and then it goes back up, and you buy, and you're doing it with your whole bag, and you end up just eroding the thing. But just food for thought. Lock in. You're talking about lock in. Like, get your mind right. Get your mind right. I don't know how I got on that tangent. Oh, because you said lock in, Maddie. All right. Trace Takala? Hey, BCB, is it possible that I see your famous crashing structure the 7 waves on multiple altcoins on the 1 hour time frame playing out, or am I completely delusional? I don't know. Let's just pick a random one here. There's DOT. Right? You're going to have the 1 hour. I don't see it yet. Thank you, though. David Baker, new member, welcome. Spencer Goldmain says, I think Total 2 just did a double tap, pull flag, breakout, violent backtest, V bottom off the March 24 high. It's this one right here, right? That's a good point. It's a good point. It might be. Good eye. Double tap, bull flag, breakouts, violent back test into the bull flag V bottom. Hey, that's a good eye. I didn't even see it. You might be right. Good eye. Thanks, Spencer. Corey, hey BCB, why are you so confident others will reach the 4.236 of the March highs and August lows? Thank you for amazing videos. I really do it just because if I see the reactions happening on a chart, and that's why I lean on it. If a chart is showing really precise reactions happening on it, then it's something I'm going to say, okay, good. If I have to kind of like be like, maybe. So like a thing like Total 3 is kind of hard. Let's do this. Right? Like, do you really see really great reactions happening here on Total 3? Like, not really. Right? So like this should have been the level of struggling in here. Like this is a classic retrace. This would be your point of struggle happening in here. And we ended up having that particular point right here. And that's exactly where others did go to. And it exactly hit the 702 Fibonacci retracement to do it. So it was really, really precise. So if a chart is showing really precise reactions for me, I'll lean more on that one. And like there's some charts like I won't use fibs on if they just don't consistently react to it, right? So like I've talked about that if you're gonna use any type of indicators on any type of charts, you need to make sure you have a historical precedent set by that chart to show that it's reacting to those particular indicators, or else you're wasting your time. Moving averages may work terrible on one. Like for example, a chart that is really terrible at moving averages is XRP. Like it's just horrible. But Bitcoin is pretty good. Bitcoin is pretty good with moving averages, but I would never use moving averages on the XRP price chart because of how bad it is. And so when I look at this one, it's because there's such precise reactions that happen in here. And like even when theorized, it was like, hey, I think we'll see like a 55% crash come up here. Ends up being 57, and it's questionable too because it's just that was the August 5th liquidation wick. But then the support gets found right there on top of that fib, right there on the preliminary support level right there. So this one has been really well behaved. So this one is probably going to end up being one to heavily focus on for me. But when I do that, I'm also going to use confluence factors at the same time. Are there other charts that are hitting certain levels at the exact same time, right? It's going to be, here's my argument, right? If I'm thinking that ends up being the top right there at just under $1 trillion, or right at, that would be ironic, right? Right at about $1 trillion for others. Well, then we'll be looking to other charts at the exact same time to say, hey, is there a confluence of factors happening in here? Like if you're getting right here, and XRP is at like $9.50 or $10, right? Or like if we're also seeing something in macro markets happening at the same time, like we talked about earlier this week, like you have Roblox back here, right? Or you have ARK back here, right? Like if there's just all these confluence things happening up, and maybe like Bitcoin's at a 702 retracement at the exact same time. So it's typically not one thing in particular, but like you can use it to strengthen your argument. My thoughts are I'm going to really, really, really pay attention to what happens right here when it hits, if it does, which I suspect it will, but if it does hit a 4.236 extension, are there other confluence factors happening in the market at the same time? But the reason why this one is leaned on more heavily is because it's much cleaner. But you can even go over here that TradingView just kind of stinks when it comes to looking at market cap charts, because you can look right here. This is total 3 for coin market cap, right? So this is the altcoin market right here, excluding Ethereum. So this is total 3, but I'm pulling it from coin market cap. Where is it? Right there. I'm pulling this from coin market cap rather than using TradingView's total 3. So their total 3 doesn't even get there, but what was reported by coin market cap does. Look, it precisely nails that. Pinpoint. 702, right? So if you want to like go over there and use CoinTrader Pro, and like this is total 3 on CoinTrader Pro according to CoinMarketCap, but TradingViews, I don't know what's going on with them. But you can use this one instead if you want, I guess, right? So one of the nuances of TradingView, and I've kind of pointed that out over the last week or two, and especially when you're flipping between the daily time frame and the like anything less than a day, that like, let's see if it shows it here, right? Here's how high price gets on the daily time frame for the altcoin market cap. I'll take that off the screen so you can see it a little bit better, right? You can see that. Right, you can see it right there. Now what happens if I switch to the 12-hour time frame? Whoops, we never got there. See? Daily time frame hits it. 12-hour time frame, it didn't. It never got there, right? 8-hour, never got there. 4-hour, never got there. And then there's these nuances of here over in TradingView where if you're in anything less than a day time frame, it won't populate. It like won't populate over here. Like it just goes back, and that's as far as it'll let you go, about 2 years, almost 3. Then we're not allowed to have that data according to TradingView. But if we go to the daily time frame, we get it, and then we also get this hit in here. But the reason I do others on TradingView is because these are, I can bounce between charts and do lots of comparisons on here. But if you wanted to go over here to CoinTrader Pro, which is a free website, right? You don't even create an account on here. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies or anything like that. This is totally free. You can see that total 3 hits the 702 retracement in here, and it does hit that level. And if you wanted to lean on this one, you can. The reason you have all these crazy wicks in here is not because price did that. Again, this is a website that is trying to pull the feed from CoinMarketCap. So whatever CoinMarketCap is reporting and whether or not they're getting errors in their data feeds that they're pulling, clearly they've gotten some feeds that pulled zeros, right? So it's not like that really ever happened. It's just, and that's why you kind of get a little bit of sloppiness over here on these charts, because it is just pulling the data simply from CoinMarketCap. So I don't know, little lesson in there. Crypto Lolak, member for 17 months. Just want to say thanks, mate, and respect for everything you do. Do not stop and add Fridays live. I kind of like the format of doing it on Wednesdays. We got the Goofy Frog. It's halfway through the week, so it's nice because like I do 2 videos, right? Then we do a live stream, which is going to change up from videos. And then we go back to doing a couple of videos and we go to the weekend. And it kind of switches things up. And Wednesday's so middle of the week, right? It's like, I'm just trying to make it through. Well, we got the frog. We kind of have a little fun and we kind of change things up. Maybe gives you something to look forward to. I know that not everybody likes the live streams, and totally get that. I'm not a big, huge live stream watcher myself, but there's a lot of people who do like it. And it gives us a chance to kind of hang out and talk, and unedited, unfiltered. I ramble my mouth straight, try not to create any silence on here. We get to kind of see me fumble my way through that. But thank you very much. Remember for 17 months. Wild. JS to 05. Hey, BCB, do you see any TA that XRP only goes 4.236 of the 2021 market cap instead of 2017? Is that a risk area for your exit plan? I think it's a fair enough. I think it's a fair enough assessment to consider that to be a laddering out level completely. But I do think this is based on the bigger, broader range. But I don't think there's anything saying you can't do that. Maybe, right? If we see confluence factors happening at the same time, right? So the question here is this. Do you think it's going to 4.236 this range instead of the bigger range, right? You can always assess the market at the time. Maybe so. I just don't think so. I think this is a big contracting triangle, the standard stuff we talk about on the channel all the time: crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and then break, right? It's just like textbook. Back to the 702, reaccumulation, just how we always describe it. It's reaccumulation, and then off and away it goes. And typically the targets on these are 4.236 extensions of these whole ranges. If something presents itself at the time where it's like Bitcoin has already made some big dramatic fall of like $20,000 or $30,000, it's back into a 702 retracement and it's happening while it's at the 4.236 extension of this range. Okay, right? And I don't think a laddering out, and like, first of all, I'm not an investment advisor. Contact a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions, because investing is risky and you can lose all of your money. Okay. Like, laddering out is my favorite style, because if you've never had it happen to you, and unfortunately a lot of people who are new to the market or who have never been in a bull run, if you have one particular price you're going for and you're just like, I'm going to blow the whole load right there and sell it all right at that particular price. And if you've never had it come up 1 or 2% short, boom, all the way back down it goes. And you completely miss that opportunity if, that's it. So, I have an idea of an area, right? Like, my idea of the area is $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12, that area. And it's just going to be laddered out up there. Chunk, right? And then if a really big sign comes up that is like blatantly, obviously screaming in my face, nope, no more, this is it, you're done, then I may just say, all right, that's it, I'm finishing it right there, 65%. Zeesh, draw a fib on total 3 from 2017. It hits 3.618, then it equals the nuke. Yeah, I believe it. Thank you, man. Oh, he says, oops, total 2. Watch out for 4.236. I'm not sure, man. I appreciate it, though, man. Big Mary, BCB, big fan. Thank you. Wouldn't be here without you. I'm trying not to ask when moon questions here. And what do you view the worst case scenario for XRP? I'm worried about round tripping. Yeah, so anytime there's a pullback, everybody's lost that excitement that they once had. Right. Up. No. What's your worst case scenario for XRP? Well, you have to always imagine that the worst case scenario in markets is something unexpected happens and S hits the fan right here, and everything just goes in a straight line down, liquidating the whole market. And that's a risk that you take in markets. I just genuinely believe we're going to see that. I'd have to see some other major warning sign come up in the market to make me believe we're not going to. I think one, something that's always possible is that we spend time in here and it tortures people and it makes them question it and doubt it and everything like that. And people get scared. And then it takes time. And then eventually it goes like that to the ending, right? Like that's always possible too. I don't actually think it's going to look more like that. I think it would look more like, I know I've got a lot of squigglies on here, but anyway, this, of course, this is the Bitcoins give me my warm milk, tuck me in at night and scratch my back structure. This, of course, is, hey, I'm going to torture you like I always do in XRP and give you all the gains at the last second. But I think it may be something more along those lines, which even in here, right, it could still be a month and that you see those types of price actions happening in there. And it's trying to remember, when the top of XRP comes in, it will likely be in conjunction with the end of the whole market. So for those who are like, no, send it there right now, then you better be prepared with your whole portfolio that you're ready to dump the whole thing, thinking the end of the market is right here, right now. I don't think the end of the market is right here, right now. I think we'll probably go into the first quarter of 2025, which makes me think that probably the top comes in somewhere there in the first quarter of 2025. And so trying to imagine what could it look like to get there. This would be a viable way to do it. But we're going to get, I think I've already had 3 kind of variations of this, of lots of scared XRP questions. And I know you may not phrase it in scared, but it's coming from a place of worry. And it seems like there's a lot of those right now, just in that range, right? Like this is what we've done. There's the range. It presents a lot of worry because our brains got really high on dopamine. I want to address that. You do. You get so hopped up and high on dopamine that when it's not doing that, suddenly there's something wrong, right? And just remembering, like even in things like that. You'll probably lose all your dopamine, right? You'll lose all of it if it did. Your dopamine would be washed out in here. But I don't see any reason to be worrying now unless something showed up. And if it did, I'll be right here to say it. I haven't sold any of my XRP. I totally intend to walk out of this with a lot of money. Okay. I don't want to round trip this thing. I'm not going to be here to be one of these content creators that tell you I'm never selling. I'm a long-term holder. That's because that's their business model for their YouTube channel, is to just keep cranking out the content and have sponsorships. It's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to sell a lot. Okay. So when that day comes, or if I'm seeing some massive warning sign that's telling me I should do it, I'll communicate that to you. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, investment advisor, contact lines of financial advisor before making investment decisions because investing is risky and you can lose all your money. You're in the most volatile market in the entire world. But I don't see anything yet, right? And if it did, I'd say it, right? I think I've tried to express that in the last videos too, of like what expansions look like, what retrace distributions look like. And if those signs showed up, I'd say it. Right. And that's why I'm kind of addressing those issues already by saying, here's what expansions look like. Here's what distributions look like. And here's what they've looked like historically. So if those signs show up and XRP is $3 and being like, yo, we're doing all of this stuff and we're only $3, something doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Zeesh says, total 2 from the 2017 fib, which was 2 days ago, hit the 3.618, then down. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't look. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, then we got more to go. Thanks, bro. All right, Travis Seco. Hey, BCB, can you wish my youngest brother, Dalton Silco, an early happy birthday? Tomorrow is his 26th birthday. He got me involved in crypto in 2021. I've been hodling since, watching your channel daily. Dude, Travis, thanks for being a watcher. Thanks for the super chat. And hopefully Dalton's a listener too, man. That's cool that y'all got into it. 2021. That's where a lot of people got in. Like during the last couple of years, I've done polls on people. What percentage of you got in at what time? It's like 2/3 of people got in 2021. So finally recouping some of that, right? Constantina, but happy birthday, Dalton, man. Your brother says what's up, and he's been watching for a long time. I appreciate it, guys. Konstantinos, new member, welcome. Out of pocket says, what's your current price prediction rate? I recall you mentioning something around 25, 50K before if we got a super cycle, right? Well, I've done this 100 times, and that's the thing I have to be careful about with talking about anything on the channel because people's memories change. You kind of change what you think you heard, right? I presented what a super cycle would look like for Ethereum, not predicted it, and that's the same thing like with the XRP stuff. I showed what Elliott wave contracting triangle rules say, and that if you did that, right, and if you followed all the particular rules, it'd be like 20, I can't remember what the number was it 25 or 27, but I'm very adamant that, right, like in the $10 area is where I'm taking massive profits. But people are constantly like, hey, the 26, can we talk about the 27 thing more? Can we talk about, you said we're going to 20, no, no. Right? Ethereum, there's a whole video on Ethereum where we do the measurement. We do Elliott wave discussions. One of my lowest viewed videos, I would just search in my videos and search for like the last big Ethereum video that I did. And it's going to address all that stuff and your measurements. And if you did Ethereum on a massive scale. But Ethereum, lagging, whether that's going to happen, I just, here's the hard thing for me to imagine with Ethereum is how it's going to do that right now. You would essentially have to see such a massive banger of a bull market in crypto. And that's so hard for me to imagine. Right? So we've seen Bitcoin do multiple super cycles. It has now done 3 of them, all of them identical in size, all 3. And so his question is, does this seem viable? The hard thing to imagine is how you would do something like that in a couple of months. Is it possible to do it in a couple of months? March? Yeah, but can I realistically imagine that happening? I can't. It's like so hard to wrap my head around something like that happening because of how much money that would take to do that. To send it from like 4K to 70K or anything like that in that amount of time, it just seems ridiculously insane. But we'll see. We'll see if we just get some massive weird stuff happening in the market. But I don't know. That's what a super cycle says. But will Ethereum follow super cycles like Bitcoin did? That's unknown. And will it do that in that short amount of time where we're talking like 3 months, 4 months? It's hard for me to imagine. I don't know. Jeff S. says, what wave are we in for XRP right now? I don't know what definition you want for wave. My personal thoughts are, on the bigger scale, wave 5 on very large scale. And that within wave 4s are notorious for contracting triangles within them. And they're notorious for going 4.236 extensions, which I'm basing on the market cap. That's why I didn't put us really high. I put us in there. So this would be like wave 5. Dover. The super chat, and it just says thank you. Dover, thank you. Sean Everett says members only stream ? Soon? ? Yes. All right. We'll do one. Let me commit to a day. Let's stop saying soon. Let's just commit to a day. Monday afternoon. Cool. I'll lock in a better time. Okay, I'm way behind. Where am I? All right, so I am still 40 minutes behind on Super Chat. So I'm going to start flying through these a little bit faster, guys, because we are at 54 minutes. I'm so grateful for the Super Chats. I appreciate you guys, appreciate the members, appreciate everything, but also trying to keep the flow of the show going. So we'll get things kind of wrapped up, and I'll start flying through them a little bit faster. Again, very grateful for you guys. I really appreciate it. Tim M says, I'm grateful for you, BCB. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it, brother. Black Cat says, if you sold XRP at 290 and bought back in at 2, would it be worth it for tax purposes if you sell at 7 or more? I never tried it, but I pondered. Yeah, it's a part of me too. When it comes to wanting to trade massive amounts of it in these ranges, I have so much XRP that's in a long-term capital gains tax bracket that if I go and try to do a little bit of movement in here right at the end of December when taxes are going to be due in April, you know, if I thought we were really peaking or something like that, I'd just go ahead and do it. But playing with those long-term capital gains taxes to convert and to try to make a little bit, and then suddenly I owe a bunch of taxes coming up in April, and then now I'm playing with short-term capital gains taxes, which are going to be charged, which your tax rate for that's going to be at whatever your income tax rate is. I just, yeah, for me, I pondered that a lot. Mount Guy Full, what are your exit points for new high dev coins? Guy, I'm not going to go through all. Thank you for the super chat, Mount Guy. Mo, retail, we'll get it wrong with #1 retail channel, Altcoin Daily, telling people the top is October, November of 2025. Yeah, I'm not here to talk about other YouTubers, guys. I built my entire channel by not having to be insecure enough to talk about other people. I just let my own work do for itself. Whatever somebody else has to bless them. You know, if they're right, I hope they're right. You know, go for it. XP Market gifted 5 BCB memberships. XP Market, thank you very much. Curry Bees, do you think there will be another bull run? Well, there always is one day, right? BCB Padawan, good morning, BCB. Member for 18 months. Thank you for all you do. Question, should we still expect a pull down to the 1.5 to 1.58 based on the market cap? Correct. Thanks. Guys, I've talked about this in videos. I'm uncertain on that, but I present it to you. MK, thank you for the super chat. No message, but stakes at 135. Felt good to have accumulated XRP sub 60 and not have been phased by the recent liquidation event. Thanks for helping me stay on the right side of the trade. Lock in. Yeah. For those who are new to XRP, you have no idea what we had to deal with. To get XRP at under 60 cents, there was no luck about it. There are people who are so negative on Twitter. You had to deal with that constantly. And like you got a lot of grifting happening in content creation of people who are like trying to create XRP content now because it's been doing well, who are total jerks for a long time. They're on the wrong side of the trade. They're acting like they're on the right side. They're not. Crypt Keeper, my sell orders are all set. In a perfect world, they all get triggered while I'm sleeping. Yeah, that would be nice. What's up? Hey, BCB, how high do you think the chances the market goes higher at the end of 2025 after a dip in the next months like we did in 2018? I bet we won't. How high do you think it is that the chance that the market goes higher end of 2025 after a dip in the next months like we did in 2018? I bet we won't. Yeah, I don't know. I have to see at the time. And Jaxer, morning dad, can we get upthrust? As in, do you expect Wyckoff distribution for Bitcoin or XRP at the top of the cycle with a possible upthrust? Possibly. No more. We need more price development. I don't see anything alarming yet. Like something may show up where I'm kind of like, oh no, but I just don't see it yet. ZimoNitrome, okay, happy holidays. After selling 65% of XRP, approximately how much percent are you using for spending and saving and reinvesting? I'm just curious. Thanks. I've set my sell points for 5, 8, and 9, not realizing that's 589. Let's go. I have to go into it with the mindset of what's getting pulled out of the market is majority going to go to cash and go to treasuries and high yield savings, and then some into silver. It's just to build a cash position and rebalance everything. Before this market took off, I had kind of, a third is really kind of how I had it. Like third in metals, third in crypto, third in cash. Now it's way off sides now on crypto, right? Way off sides, and then kind of just rebalancing that back the other way at some point. But I'm not going to stocks, and it's not to say it isn't for everybody. I'm not going to stock. I naturally, part of me also, I think there's such a large percent of people in crypto in particular, they've just never been through a recession before. They don't know what having a safety nest is or why they would need one. The concept of recession is always, the Fed will just print our way out of it. I was a young adult during the Great Financial Crisis. I owned a house during the Great Financial Crisis, had multiple jobs during the Great Financial Crisis, and I watched plenty of my neighbors leave in my very nice cookie-cutter neighborhood as they took their blinds, as they slipped out in the middle of the night, abandoning and foreclosing on their homes. A lot of people don't know that are in crypto and in markets, and they just have money printer go burr mentality. They do not know what a crisis is. Building a safety net, having a nest egg to lean back on is very important to me. MK, I've been here since 2020 with BCB. What XRP prices are you taking big bag profit? We talk about that like every day, dude. How have you been here since 2020? There's no way you've been here since 2020. Like, no way. And you would ask that question. I don't believe you. Adam Seligman, hey BCB, in 2017, XRP had two distinct waves up in May and in December. What do you see from an LA wave perspective on our current situation? Do you think we're working on wave 3 or wave 5? Guys, I think I covered, like, a lot of these questions I get asked a lot, and I'm not moving any faster through these super chats. I think we've showed maybe, and one thing is, I'm 30 minutes behind, so I may have already covered this stuff. Adam, thank you, brother. Brooke, I just watch all the XRP videos. Brooks, and again, I want to reiterate this. I'm very grateful for the super chats, but I do also have to acknowledge I have over 3,000 people watching, and I do try to keep the flow moving for everybody rather than just me reading super chats. So I am very grateful, but I'm in a weird situation where I have to also keep the flow going at the same time. Brooks say, 097, Bitcoin folks are seemingly aligned on a bull run most of 2025. Do you think this is a mid-cycle alt season, or is this all crypto going into a bear market after this? So I think, like, when we get into these, people just kind of forget all the things that have been talked about leading up to this. Like, this question is coming from a person. Like, you should know what my theory is. I have a theory and a thesis, and it's why I'm in the market. I don't blindly just hang out in the markets, having no thesis of what I think is happening. I know that in crypto, it's going to be 4-year cycles till November, right? Like, it's clear as day. That's just going to be what it is. 4-year cycles till November, even though the crypto market technically topped in April and May of 2021, right? Like, the technical tops in April and May of 2021. But you had Bitcoin slightly set this new high in November with Ethereum, even though 90% of the market didn't. But everybody's going to say, hey, you know what? I can get a whole lot more clicks if I focus on that November high and say 4 years till then. But we know that we were already in a bear. November was not like a bull. November was just like a bear. We all know it. Who is here? This also isn't an expansion in the Russell. We didn't have it. We had expansions in 2012, 16, and 2020. This isn't one. I think I've gone through this quite a bit. I'm not falling in line with the November idea. Jimmy, Rambo, thank you very much. Lenosec, hey BCB, isn't XRP market cap supposed to catch up to Ethereum, which is $9 to $10, is kind of for that. Exactly. Yeah. Jimmy, thank you very much. Jaxer gifted 1 BCB membership. Thank you very much, Jaxer. And Giorgio Ardamas, BCB, there is finally some liquidity in the XRP Ledger. Can you share your thoughts about XRP L coins and memes, NFTs? Is there a time in the cycle where you think these smaller caps would run? I don't have any particular opinions on any of the memes. I did in one live stream, somebody commented on the top market cap coin had exceeded a level. I simply said, wow, that's cool. Yeah, wow, it crossed like $20 million. That meme coin went on to clip that, promote that on their channel or on their Twitter page, and use that as like a marketing thing. That unfortunately is going to ruin it for me to ever talk about anything like that ever again, because that's what they're going to do. So I can't bring up anything because it's just going to get clipped, and these people are going to use it for marketing. So I don't talk about any of them. I've played in the First Ledger stuff a lot, and you can really see that it breathes in and it breathes out. Haven't quite pinpoint nailed what is the cause that is actually causing it to breathe in or when it breathes out. But right now it's in a breathe out phase, right? And so I think it'll breathe in again, and I think all boats will rise together. And the thing that typically ends up happening is when people are experiencing a lot of profits, they're feeling really emotionally happy. They're feeling really excited. And that tends to be when we see those things run. One thing that was very interesting is we also saw NFTs over there on Ethereum and Solana also doing really well while that meme coin run on First Ledger and on XRP was happening at the same time. So it's kind of broad market based too at the same time. I think we saw like Mutant Apes run up to over 4 Ethereum each, right? That's pretty big. I don't think it's been that high in a couple of years, maybe 2 years. And so it just, it kind of tends to be like that. People get a lot of profits. They're feeling really good. They're willing to take a little bit other risk, and then they start spreading it around. And you tend to see all of them kind of rise together. So I don't have a particular an opinion on any particular memes, because even when I play in the memes, I don't really buy the narratives of any of them. I'm more of a kind of get in, get out, play it real fast, and get on. And I've had good luck doing that. Cheating, if you want to call it. But yeah, it just kind of comes in waves. Right now, the meme market, I think, is breathed out, but it'll likely come back. And it's important to realize when it's breathed out, when it's breathing out too, to not play in it when it's like that. It's been like that for about a week. Gem Jimmy, BCB, what do you think Bitcoin is going to top out at? All right. We talk about it a lot. You could look it up. Blackout. When is members only stream? Oh, we got that next Monday. Jonas Fugalis. Thank you very much for the blockchain backer membership gift. John, member for 9 months. I've been around a lot longer than 9 months. Thank you, BCB, all who join these live streams. It's been a lot of fun. John, thank you, brother. Mike. Sorry, my thing skipped around. I'm having a hard time because my thing is... Okay. If it wants to go faster. Okay, now we're back. Mike, can you clear the air on how RLUSD will affect price going forward? Stop the $500 comments below. I think it has no impact. Does it create speculation? Sure, whatever. Does it convince people to buy the top of the market? Sure, whatever. We should all know that I don't care. I think we should all know. Oh, hey, look at that. Bitcoin back above 100K. You guys are just letting me just hang out over here with some dingus RTY chart on the screen when Bitcoin's over 100K. What's the dilly? No, I think the memes were the big thing to drive attention. Like, it's all about retail attention, right? And my big argument has been for the memes. I do understand not everybody likes the memes, but if you just... unfortunately, like, I think Zaman Wallet missed their big opportunity to do that. I talked to Vitz about that in a Twitter Spaces one time, and he just refused to do it. But First Ledger did it, and they've made bank. They've made so much money. ridiculous, millions of dollars. So that was the winner. That's what retail wanted. Retail, that's going to be the thing that gets people tweeting about it. That's going to be the thing that brings a bunch of attention, a bunch of YouTube, and a bunch of excitement and all that stuff. RLUSD, maybe, but how exciting is it really? Don't know. I think people are probably hoping to see that it provides some type of fundamental floor price for XRP based on usage with AMMs and stuff like that. But hard to know where that floor is, right? We're reaching into speculative prices now, right? Not supported by utility holding the price up. This is a lot of speculative price action happening in here. So outside of it continuing speculation in the midst of a bull run, that's probably about it. Just continue the speculation. Jeremy says, may you please comment on Litecoin and Dash? Jeremy, sorry guys, no, we're not covering individual altcoins today. I appreciate the super chat though. Tsunami76, when the time comes, is it better to sell directly in the ledger despite the higher fees, or transfer to exchanges to sell but risk delay and transfer exchanges crashing even though fees are lower? Personal question you're going to have to answer yourself. I don't have the better answer for you, brother. Right. I use exchanges, but just because I use them, I don't know if you're going to fumble the bag or if you're going to put it on an exchange that's going to crash and you're not going to get your money out of it. That's why I don't have exchanges as sponsorships. I would make an absolute killing as a YouTuber by spreading affiliate links to go get you on guys onto leverage exchanges. That is the number one way to make money in crypto as a content creator, is to share Bybit and Femix affiliate links. It's the biggest bank that pays. But I just know that things end up hitting the fan with exchanges at some point. So yeah, you do take on that risk. You're going to have to decide that for yourself and what risk tolerance you have. Psycho, hey, BCB, back in the day, you said your exit was $13. Still the same. Well, brother, we've covered this a million times. How many times are we going to ask this today? No, it'd be before we get to $10. Kiri Bays, I asked earlier, but you think there will be another bull run? Or can you see an extended bear market potentially breaking from 4-year cycle theory? So these are the kinds of I answered, but maybe it's just I'm so far behind. I think people want to hear that. They want to hear that I don't have to sell. I can let things ride forever, and then there will still be another bull market eventually. Don't know. Macro would have to be favorable for you, right? Yeah, it's such a, you ask such an incredibly complicated question that I've written like massive newsletters on, done lots of videos on these topics, and asking to summarize it into a minute. And I wouldn't be able to provide justice on it in a minute answer. I could just get, clipped and say, listen to this. There's full write-ups on this and understanding where the United States stock market is. And you have to ask yourself the question, do you think this is a rotational top of an equity bubble? If it is a rotational top of an equity bubble and it's not an expansion, what will happen to crypto in that event? That's the $1 million question. I'm being very blunt. Because if your entire investment thesis is based off of anything that a YouTuber is saying or telling you or giving you timing, it's just very unlikely you're going to walk away from this thing unscathed. You're going to have some type of your own thesis. And I think the laziest thesis is 4-year block reward cycle theory. It's extremely lazy. And that should have woken everybody up. Very much so. That event right there should have woken everybody up big time. And if it didn't wake you up, Don't know what to tell anybody. Derek Daniels, hey BCB, are you going to make a video on the exit plan for the coins we've talked about? If not, would you mind sharing it? God bless you. Again, individual altcoins. I don't know. We'll see. You have to understand, like there's almost no benefit about talking individual coins in here on the channel. Kind of got ruined for itself because, like, let's say if I pick 10 coins, if 5 of them go to the moon, I'll never hear anybody talk to me about those 5 coins ever again. I will always hear about the 5 that didn't. So it becomes a net negative to even talk about it. It's just like not worth it. Herman Lopez says, hey, BCB, are you creating a new exit plan course? No, I'm not creating a new one. Gibbs, good morning, fam. I hope everyone has a happy Christmas. Member for 10 months. Thank you so much, brother. Jose says, how does it feel being the source for so many other crypto YouTubers TA news? It's always been like that. It's always been like that. A lot of the TA out there has regurgitated my videos. Big YouTubers. Jay Jacob, 2 small German YouTubers copy your analysis. Sad, dude. There's big ones that copy. Ethan Davis, if you want more information, get BCB's Substack. Ethan, thank you very much. It's always been like that. My thought process is that people will eventually realize that it's a copy, and they eventually just come to the source, and they realize, wait a minute, I was watching copy content, and they eventually come here and see where it is. RF says, are you scaling out of trades at levels, or do you take a chunk at price points? That's the same thing, right? That's the exact same thing, isn't it? If you're scaling out at certain levels or taking a chunk at price points, replace scaling for chunk and price points at levels. I think that's the same thing. Thank you, though. But yeah. It's okay. George Alexanderopoulos says, do you have a top for the RTY? Sorry if you already covered this. I haven't talked about it. RTY is one that is short of the 4.236 extension. That it'd be logical. Sorry, this is a lot of stuff on here from past discussions. I'm just going to leave it on there. I don't know why I have it there, but maybe I'll edit it another day. Don't know. Right? This one. This mouse is kind of messing up. I ordered a new one on Amazon. I've got it sitting right here on my desk. I just haven't set it up yet. This is not perfect, but you could see even in a rotational top like 1999, it really was just barely eclipsing over and pulling down. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is something along those lines for the RTY. But really, it just needs to be a confluence of multiple things all at once. And it's hard to know what that is today, of what those events will be and how it will end up looking. But I try to show you the things of like expansions, the things of retraces and distributions. We talk about things like ARC and Roblox, and we mix in all of these different elements together to that one day there may be something happening between all of them all at the same time. And it creates this massive case of saying, that's it. Right now, I don't see it. But there may become a day where they all happen at the same time. And then maybe some event happens. Maybe an event like the SEC cases gets, they accept the payment or something. They withdraw the appeal or something like that, right? Or Elon Musk tweets XRP is the best thing in the history of the universe, right? That something happens of the same thing, right? Like when you look back on it, you look back on 2021, right? Like I thought back then in 2021, my whole idea was that Bitcoin would crash 50% and then set a new high. You can go revisit my content from back then. It's totally what I thought would happen. I totally thought in here, Bitcoin was going to crash 50% and then set a new high. And it did do all that. it did do exactly that. The only thing is it did it in a bear market, and like there was no alt season that came over here, right? But you look back on it and revisit this and like reflect on what it was, right? It was distribution back to a 702, and the market's rampaging into that. And that's what we saw in 2017 when it was back into that retracement. And the confluence factor of retail euphoria at the time was Elon Musk going on to Saturday Night Live. Right? It's hard to know what that will be this time around. But that there will likely be something in whatever that is. And in the event that that occurs, it'll be like, hey, here's a bunch of confluence happening. And Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, just told us to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum here at the 4.236 extension. You know what I mean? That's what happened. Because you had Elon Musk here at this peak. You had Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, at that one. And right now, a lot of people are probably like, whatever, Tim Cook, who cares? There were two stocks that retail investors were goo-goo gaga over back then. And it was Apple and it was Tesla. And you got the Tesla guy to do it here. You got the Apple guy to do it here. There were like these, and so you don't know what those are going to be in moments right now. But I'm going to bet there will be things like that that show up. 100,000, 500, let's go. Survive the liquidation, baby. All right. Sebastian, thank you. David Carino Jr. Hey, BCV, longtime lurker since mid-2020. Thank you for keeping your XRP following strong. We appreciate your hard work and keep doing what you do. Thanks for your advice. I'm more financially free. Thank you, David. It's all you, dude. People don't realize that. It was you going through the pain, bro. Not anybody else. Because in the end, when you walk away from the computer, when you put the phone down, it's you living in your own world. It's you thinking to yourself, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I not do this? It's all you. X. Unlike most of your followers, I listened to what you said. People listen. It's just the occasional people who type stuff. You once said United Health would be a trigger for the next global financial crisis. Again, I didn't say it would be. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Now with the CEO situation, is this the sign? Don't know. But it's weird, right? It's weird. Super weird. I said two things potentially that I could imagine it being. And they're kind of happening. United Health and aliens. I even forced the newsletter subscribers like a year and a half ago, wrote a whole alien piece about it marking the top. Poor subscribers back then. But hey, what if it's right? It's United Health and aliens. All right. Let us sec. So if 9010, if F doesn't move, if it moves, it change. Oh, it's such a basic, it's just such a simple question, complicated question. I don't think I really care about what F is when it comes to XRP. I just don't think I really care. It's the 4.236 extension area of the market cap, and it's that simple, guys. People are going to look for anything and everything to get me to say a higher number. They're just going to do it. I'm telling you right now, I'm selling there. Right? It's just that simple. So I can't believe it. We're at an hour and 23 minutes, and I've caught up on all super chats. Now, what I feel bad about is that there's probably a super chat that I missed. And if I missed yours, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Things go so crazy in here, and there's so many of them. It's really hard to get to them all. The good news is Bitcoin's back over 100K. XRP, what are you at? 244. Market's holding itself up. We got through the liquidation event. Things are stabilizing throughout the market. Let's go. Those can be quite scary when they happen, especially for people who have never been through them. I don't think the new people bought that dip. I think they probably sold it or got themselves scared of it. But it looks like things are settling, and we got through the liquidation, so that rocks. Kim 589, remember, for 48 months. You know what that means? 48 months. 4 years. Kim's been a member since like before the whole bull run got kicked off in 2021. That's crazy. Thank you. 48. I think I've only seen that one other time. Somebody else that had that. All right. That's it, guys. I hope we're all doing good. This is a great way to end the stream. You got Bitcoin back above 100K. You got green throughout the rest of the board. I do think we're still ranging here a little bit. While prices are up, right, you don't see anything breaking out. I don't see anybody like going YOLO crazy right now. So probably still a little bit more ranging to happen in here. But what it's clearly, we've recovered from the liquidation event in there. So there you go. Kim needs an honorary mug. Yeah. That's a long time support right there. Thank you. So, all right, we'll go ahead and go through the wrap up. We covered the news. It's all Dingus stuff. Of course, you guys could check out the newsletter over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com, which if you don't want to go finding all the videos in there, you can at least go through the newsletters and read my hypothesis. I don't know. The market and everything. I think you get access to all the past newsletters too, and I also, of course, audio record these as well. If you're looking to learn how to set up your own charts and indicators, you could do that over here on bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content on there. Otherwise, we survived it. I only played the frog one time today. How dare I? Let's do it.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday,
All right, there we go. But yeah, it is weird about the United Health thing. I have thought about that. How many times I've talked about United Health and that, like, it just seemed weird that it could be a thing. Because here's why United Health was always a discussion for anybody wanting to know. Why it's not some magic that I have. It's that United Health is the biggest contributor of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's over 11% of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's the biggest piece of the pie of the Dow. So like the stock market is practically propped up by United Health. And the bubble that has been printed by United Health is absolutely nasty, huge bubble. And it was like, when this thing falls, it's going to take everything with it. And so it was theorized that, you know, that could be the stock that triggers it all because it represents 11% of the entire market. And the bubble on it is so absurd. So absurd. I'll pull it up really fast. Hold on. That's the United Health bubble. So that doesn't look good, right? That doesn't look good. You know, there it is, right? CEO. What did we talk about? Like the last time we brought up, sorry, I'm going to get this mic a little closer. The last time we talked about United Health, we were talking about Wyckoff distribution and that being the upthrust at the end of distribution, right? And in the upthrust after distribution, that happens. $11% of the United States stock market is propped up by this guy. What happens when it cascades? Don't know. Weird. All right. That's it. Leave it on a pot. We're not going to leave it on talking about that. Bitcoin, $100,000 again. XRP, $2.45. You got a ton of green over here on the board. Nearly everything is green. Seller limits went green. It's all green. There you go. Everybody is green. Great way to end the live stream. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. I hope I didn't miss any super chats that came through. I apologize if I did. And I appreciate you all guys for tuning in so much. Of course, check out the newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com, and have an absolutely wonderful day. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.